TFA fam, what is going on? It is week 11. We are here for the start sit show. Any waivers, questions, trades, lineups, anything like that, go ahead and start dropping them in the chat. We did get a bunch of news that has started to come out, and just we thought we were going to skip it. That's why we pushed everything back. And we're like, oh man, nothing happened. And then it all happened. Just as is tradition, we have Abraham and Walito rocking with us in the chat. I do just want to touch on a couple of these pieces of news before we start jumping into the questions. So any questions you have, throw them in the chat. We'll get to them. Amari Cooper is out this week and next week because he tested positive for COVID. So 10 days he has to miss. So he will miss the Thursday Thanksgiving game. Alvin Kamara is out along with both of the starting tackles for the Saints. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about starting Mark Ingram. Jared Goff is out. DeAndre Hopkins is out. Kyler Murray is a game-time decision. Chris Carson, season-ending IR. So if Alex Collins is out on waivers, you can look to pick him up. Khalil Mack and Danny Trevathan, both for the Bears, on IR. Khalil Mack out for the season. Elijah Mitchell is doubtful against the Jags. So if Jeff Wilson is still sitting out there, the last time I looked earlier this week, he was only rostered 25% of ESPN leagues. So you can go snag him and feel confident starting him this week. Allen Robinson, doubtful with a hammy. Jeremy McNichols is out with a concussion, and someone that Kev talked about earlier this week was Deonta Foreman. That obviously opens up more touches for him and for Adrian Peterson, but I would expect Deonta Foreman to get some more of the pass-catching role there. Marquis Brown, questionable. He did get in a limited practice today after he had 2 DNPs earlier this week. Another defensive guy to keep an eye on, Joey Bosa, has a chance to play Sunday against the Steelers because he was a close contact. He hasn't tested positive for COVID, but the Chargers are going to be without Drew Tranquill and Jerry Tillery on the defensive line. So if you thought Najee Harris was a good play this week, it looks even better now with especially with Tillery being out. Speaking of helping the run game, Vita Vea is out for Tampa Bay, which will help open things up for Saquon, assuming he returns. He looks like he should be on track to return as well. Logan Ryan, unlikely to play. So if you needed any extra reason to start the pass catchers for Tampa Bay, there you go. Chase Claypool coming back. Like I said, Saquon is he has been practicing all week in a limited capacity, so he looks good to go. And then the last thing I do want to mention here, which is super weird. So it looked like Cam Newton was getting the start, right? And then there was a quote that came out that Cam's going to take the first snap and that PJ Walker is, quote, probably going to play on Sunday as well. So I have no idea what the hell that means. So if you're looking at streaming Cam Newton this week in a good matchup, I would pump the brakes and I would wait and see what this is going to look like first, because I have no idea what to expect with whatever the hell that means. I think that's it, Kev. Did I miss anything?
Did you get Big Ben? Because we don't know if he's going to play or not either.
Oh, no, I did miss Big Ben. Good catch.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on that news. I think he said today that he's feeling a lot better, but we still have no idea. That he has until 4:00 tomorrow to be cleared. So,
okay, I think that's it then. Abraham starting the Pats defense. 28 points. There you go. Walito has the first question of the week: Crowder or Freeman and the flex in a PPR?
I don't know how comfortable. I mean, because it sounds like Latavius Murray should be back this week, and so
yeah,
if he's
there's
back,
another one.
like I feel like that he's going to take over this backfield, and I mean, or at the very least, it's going to be a committee. And so, with Freeman, like I don't feel really all that confident in playing him. So I think I would feel much better going with Crowder.
Yeah, I agree with that one as well. Aqua rocking with us. Appreciate all of you joining us. Hit us with a sub if you have yet to do so. Give us a like as well. We appreciate all you guys Abraham traded Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams for Jamar Chase and Monty. Thoughts?
I think that was a good trade. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of a downgrade from Devontae to Jamar Chase, but I think you get an upgrade from Josh Jacobs to David Montgomery. The Raiders have like the third or fourth hardest fantasy playoff schedule. And so I think that was actually a good move by you. David Montgomery has a top 5 easiest playoff schedule and a top 5 easiest remaining schedule for running backs as well. So I really like that move.
It looks like we're going to get a playoff Monty back-to-back years. Tua or Wilson? I thought I saw something that Flacco was going to be starting this game and Mike White was going to be backing up, but then I saw it kind of seemed like Wilson has a chance to play. I would just avoid that altogether. And I would just go. I can't even believe that you were asking this question, Aqua. We thought you were a fan.
It's tough, but it's tough though because I think when you look at it, because these are 2 games that can be kind of non-competitive because, or at least on because if Kyler Murray doesn't play and Colt McCoy is questionable at best, I mean they're looking at their 3rd string quarterback for Arizona.
Yeah, I didn't even think Russ. I was going Zach.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you have the other game with Tua. Like, I probably go Russell Wilson. I think this is a get right game for them, for him in this spot. And I still have to go Russ, even though I do really, really like Tua this week, but I can't play Tua over Russ.
Yeah, I'm with you there. For whatever reason, Russ wasn't even part of my thought process there. Thank you for squaring that away. Uzi, rocking with us, just recently joined the Discord as well. The link is in the video description if you want to join our free fantasy football Discord. But Uzi has a question: Hardman, Cobb, Traquan, Marquez, or okay? So Hardman, Cobb, Traquan, Marquez, Callaway, PPR.
I think I'm going to go with Traquan here. I mean, I don't mind Hardman, but Hardman just is always such a letdown, and you don't know how much volume he's going to get. He's starting to see a loss in snaps, and so he doesn't fight. He doesn't score, and we've seen some good weeks from Traquan, and I actually low key. I think Traquan is somebody that I'll talk about more in depth on the waiver show next week, depending on as long as he doesn't obviously get hurt. But his remaining schedule in the slot, he gets great matchup after great matchup after great matchup after great matchup every single week to close out the year. And so I like Traquan quite a bit as just a moving forward piece, but I don't mind him this week either.
Yeah, I think if you need that, Uzi, if you need more of a boom bust, I'm going Hardman, but I would also lean Traquan here as well. And then Uzi did have another question. Quarterbacks here: Tua, Cousins, or Fields? I think
I'm going to go Tua. You have to look at the way this Packers defense has played over the last, I don't know, the last month. I mean, they have done a really good job and held a lot of good offenses down. And so I just don't see Cousins coming in here and just lighting things up. And this is just a great match. The Jets have allowed 44 points in 4 straight games. They are truly next level awful.
Yeah, it was between Tua or Fields for me personally. I wasn't even considering Cousins, but you got to give the edge to Tua. I do like how Fields has started to look in that offense, but the fact that A-Rob is doubtful with that hammy, I'm also going to go Tua along with you. Got another quarterback question here from Abraham. Kyler game time decision. Have Danny Dimes just in case, but Carson Wentz is chilling on waivers.
I think he would hold Daniel Jones. Carson Wentz, against Buffalo is not something that I feel great about, especially on the road in Buffalo. And so, I think he probably just have. I think you go Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes there for me as well. I had Carson Wentz in the TFA listener league, and I picked up Justin Fields to play him over Wentz this week. But now with A-Rob out, not feeling as good as I did prior to that. Might have to see what else is out on waivers. Waddle or Moore at the flex. This one is going to be Waddle for me. We just can't trust Elijah Moore yet. He's still not, especially with Corey Davis.
Trust not DJ Moore.
Oh my God. Or Rondell Moore. God. Man,
I'm guessing that's DJ Moore would be my guess.
Okay, let's say it's DJ. Who do you like here?
I'm going DJ Moore. It's close because I really do. I really, really like Waddle this week, but I would just slightly lean more. I think I don't buy it for a second. I think Cam plays this entire game. I can't imagine what's the significance of letting him go out there and play the first snap. You know what I mean? Like that's just ridiculous. And so
it kind of seemed like it wasn't necessarily going to be one of those things where Newton takes the first snap and then it's PJ time, but it did seem like PJ Walker was still going to be like involved and worked in,
which is stupid. Why are we doing that? Just play Cam Newton. But regardless, I still think this is a good matchup. Washington is also missing, obviously Chase Young, who's out for the year now. Montez Sweat is out. They're missing a lot of pieces on that defensive line, and that was kind of the only thing that they had. And now that that's gone, this defense is going to turn even worse. So I think this could be a really big bounce back spot for DJ Moore. But like I said, I love Jalen Waddle, but I'm going DJ Moore on this one.
Yeah, I do have DJ Moore above Waddle in the ranks, but it is close. But I'm with you there in the bounce back potential, especially with the injuries that you see. That was the issue. Like I didn't go back to the beginning of the week. I just did it over like the past 2 or 3 days, and I completely forgot about Chase Young hitting IR as well. Russ or Tanny here for the Lido.
I'm going Russ.
You do it.
The Titans are playing Houston, but the Titans just continue to be a run-heavy offense, regardless if they have Derrick Henry or not. And so, unless you think Houston's going to get out and get a lead in this game and push them to throw the ball, I think I would feel a little bit more comfortable playing Russ.
Yeah. I'm going to go Russ there as well. We need some more disagreements. This is boring just saying yes back and forth. Maybe starting here. Tam has a question. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. So let's start with the running backs. Chubb, Eckler, Gaskin, Daryl Williams, D'Ernest.
Chubb and Eckler.
First 2. Yep, first 2. 2 wide receivers, Gallup, A.J. Brown, Debo, Cooks.
A.J. Brown and Debo.
Who do we like here at the flex?
This is where it gets really interesting because Myles Gaskin, great spot against the Jets. We talked about him on a couple of the shows we did this week. Daryl Williams. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He hasn't been activated yet. They have until tomorrow afternoon. So the good news is you'll know in advance if they're going to activate him or not. They did talk about him today. It was typical Andy Reid. It was, he's looked really good this week at practice, but we're not committed. Necessarily, he's not necessarily going to play this week either. And so, I think he doesn't play this week. I think that makes the most sense. But so with Daryl Williams, I think it would come down to Daryl Williams and Gallup for me. But with Amari Cooper out, it really kind of consolidates the targets a little bit. And it really elevates Gallup. in my opinion. But I still would probably go Daryl Williams in the flex.
Man, I like the spot that Cooks is in this week too. Yeah, you gotta roll touches. You gotta roll touches, and you gotta roll the offense. So I'm going Daryl Williams as well. Another clean sweep.
Well, I will say this, and if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is playing, I guess we should hit on that.
Yeah.
If Clyde Edwards-Helaire does play, then I would not play Daryl Williams, and I think that I would pivot to Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
Or no, excuse me, I would pivot to Michael Gallup. But I think you would probably go Cooks, right? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I would go Cooks. I do like Gallup. Obviously with Cooper being out, that bumps him up. Gallup was a guy that I talked about liking in the wide receiver video that we did, but with that KC defense playing, playing a little bit better, there's nothing I'm afraid of with the Tennessee side on their defense. Right now, Texans are 10-point dogs. Although that total opened up at 50.5 and has dropped all the way down to 44.5. So almost a touchdown dropping there, which is wild to see. Moving on to Mets, 32-14, 4-6 in a 12-team 2-flex league, hurt by injuries. Do we think Mets has a chance to make the playoffs? Need to get to 7-7.
Yeah, I think you have a shot. I mean, you're not. It always depends on where, if you are in a league where, let's say it's a 12 team, and let's say 6 teams make it, where it's, you're in 2 different divisions and top 3 make it, or how it depends on however your playoffs are set up. But as long as you're within, a game or 2 of the team that's in 6, heck yeah, you're still in it. And so I wouldn't give up. And a lot of teams have been brutalized, but it's been a brutal year for injuries, and not just injuries, but COVID popping up. And taking these guys out for at least a week or 2. And, so it's just been a really brutal year for injuries. And so, if you've made it through rather unscathed, you're probably in a pretty good spot, but just hope that, the regression doesn't come for you because, but yeah, you're definitely still in it. What's your team? Like, what does your team look like right now? Mets.
Yeah, Mets, drop your team and your lineup, and we'll see if we can help you out a little bit more. Tua Fields Cousins from Uzi. This one is going to Tua. Carl wants to know, should I start Cam or pick up someone like Tua or Danny Dimes?
I would pick up Tua. Tua is we know what we're getting from him. This is a great spot. So I would go Tua. I like Cam from a season-long perspective, but Tua this week.
Yeah, we also have to remember that, yes, I know the weapons were not there for Cam last year, but it's like he was doing great in terms of the passing game either. You know what I mean? So I want to see it for a week or 2 here with Cam before I throw him in. If it wasn't for Cam's double-digit rushing touchdowns last year, he would have been a fantasy afterthought. So I much prefer Tua, especially this week. Anthony Ort, AO, has a question. Hollywood or T. Higgins as wide receiver 2, starting Monty over Barkley. So let's tackle the first one. Hollywood or T. Higgins. Like I said, Hollywood did have 2 DMPs earlier in the week. Got in a limited session on Friday, so that obviously bodes well for him progressing through it. But Hollywood or Higgins here?
I would go Hollywood.
I'm sticking Hollywood as well, but I do like, and I heard you mention this before too, Kev. I do like that Bengals Raiders game, but I'm still rocking with Hollywood. Then obviously, if we hear anything about being limited or might not be a full go, pivoting to T. Higgins is completely fine. All right, your thoughts on this? Barkley going up against Tampa. They did give up, 2 touchdowns to Gibson last week. If it weren't for the 2 touchdowns, wouldn't have been a great day for him. But now Tampa Bay without Vita Vea, which is big for them in the middle of that defense. How are you leaning here with Monty versus Barkley?
Well, I'd also make an argument that that this is a terrible matchup for Monty this week. Like, this is one of the rare bad matchups they have left on the season for running backs because Baltimore is third in adjusted line yards. They're first in stuff rank. So for them, like, that's the only concern I would have with him. And the other concern with Monty is he's just not involved as a pass catcher, or at least he hasn't been to this point. So in games, like, especially if they were to get down a little bit, I would be somewhat concerned how much they utilize him in the passing game, or maybe they would use a lot little more. The first game back, I will say that with Monty was, there was a really tight game script, and stuff like that. But still, like, he just wasn't utilized as a pass catcher all that much, even though he played 84% of the snaps. And so with Barkley, at least that he's going to be involved as a pass catcher. So I would go Barkley here.
Yeah, I'm still rocking Barkley there as well. Here we go, baby. Dynasty trade offer here for Justin. I give up Pittman and Jacobs for Saquon and Mike Williams. Should I do it? Yes, absolutely. I love getting Saquon there at that price. Josh Jacobs he's fine. Pittman, obviously, we're big fans of. He's on the rise. Love to see the breakout that he's having this year. But getting Saquon, who, despite how his year has gone, he's still going to be a top 12 to 15 dynasty asset, unless this is a super flex league. But outside of super flex league, Saquon Barkley is still going to be up there. Mike Williams has petered out the past couple of weeks, but you're still getting the best player here in the deal. So I love getting Saquon for that price, Justin. So throwing in Khalif Raymond for Uzi's question. Are you switching to Khalif Raymond over Traquan or Hartman?
I don't even know how much I like starting Gronk, to be honest with you. I just don't know what to expect from him.
Yeah.
He was going to be out a couple weeks, to all of a sudden he practiced in full. But, with the other options he has, I guess you don't really have much of a choice because, I don't love any of the other options either. So I guess you go Gronk, but did we? I thought we already answered this.
Yeah, but I think I don't think Khalif Raymond was in it. Remember, I think he had Hardman written in there twice.
Yeah, it would still be the same thing for me. Khalif Raymond doesn't change anything for me. Who are the Lions starting? Is it Tim Boyle?
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure.
No,
is.
I don't know if it could be any worse than what Jared Goff was last week.
No. Although it was nice seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown having 80% of the passing game production. Just elite level market share.
Whenever you can just not target TJ Hawkinson, you have to do it.
I would like with what you're saying with Gronk, I'd probably go Hardman and Traquan there. Like it's Harmon's likely not going to give you a 0, where I feel like Gronk could very well give you a 0.
Yeah, I just think it's a risky play for this week.
Yeah, so I would actually go Hardman and Traquan there, Uzi, and just sit Gronk for this week. Kev, this is out of my wheelhouse. You'd probably be very surprised to know that I have not seen any Spider-Man movies. Or is Spider-Man? He's part of Marvel, right? Part of that whole thing.
Yeah, this is the trailer that just came out like a few days ago for Spider-Man. I have seen it. It does look really good.
Yeah, I've never seen any Marvel movie, no Spider-Man.
But you haven't even seen any of the Avengers or anything?
Mm-mm.
What's wrong with you? Have you not? You've never seen the Avengers?
Mm-mm.
Wow. And Disney even has an app now that you can get and watch the whole thing.
There is
I have seen it. I thought it looked really good. I think this one might be the best one yet for Spider-Man. But Avengers, I can't believe you haven't seen Avengers. Like,
Nope.
I love the Avengers movie. Love the Avengers movies.
Yep, I've not seen it.
I will say this too. Speaking of movies, I will say this really quickly. We talked about this before we got on. If anybody hasn't seen the Home Sweet Home Alone remake that just dropped this past week, save yourself some time and don't fucking watch it, because it is absolutely horrifically bad. Like it
sounded awful.
It's an absolute train wreck of a movie, and I watched it because I'm such a huge fan. The Home Alone movies are like in my top 5 of favorite Christmas movies of all time, without a doubt. And this was an absolute embarrassment to the Home Alone movies. And so, like, it was bad. So, I mean, if you have kids, you want them to watch it, cool. But, yeah. Anyways, I digress. We get back to talking football.
Yeah, Carn needs some lineup help here. 2 wide receivers, running back, and a flex to start with the wide receivers. Diggs, Smitty, Pittman, Mclaren, Ayuk.
So Diggs for sure. And then Terry McLaurin. One running back would be Daryl Williams, as long as CEH is out. If CEH is in, then go Gaskins, obviously. But I would go Daryl Williams. And then in the flex, it would be between Pittman and Gaskins for me. And I think I would go Gaskins. I don't love this matchup for Michael Pittman. And I love Michael Pittman. I think you're playing him in most situations unless you have another option. And I think this is another option. And I mean, it's what we talked about. Like this Jets defense is so incredibly bad, especially at stopping the run. But I guess the one guy who could fuck this up would be Myles Gaskins with the way this season has gone for him. Because literally every week it feels like you should play Myles Gaskins. It doesn't work out. And every week that no one's on him is that he just goes out and explodes for 30 fantasy points. Yeah. But this is like the best matchup he's probably going to see all year. Like I said, they allow 6+, it's like almost 7 fantasy points per game more to running backs than the next closest. They're that bad. But so I don't want to sit Gaskins if I don't have to. And so I would probably go Gaskins over Pittman. Though it's tough because Pittman sees a lot of targets, but this just isn't a great matchup against Buffalo.
I'm going to go Diggs, Devonta Smith, Gaskins, and Diggs, Devonta Smith, Gaskins, and Daryl Williams.
I don't mind Devon Smith either. I think he's right there in kind of this,
They're all that same group.
And I know Terry McLaurin has been frustrating this year. And I know this isn't necessarily the best matchup going against the Panthers, but I don't know. Like I
think Washington lost Brandon Scherf again. I'm sure, and that Panthers defense started out elite. Looked like it had some chinks in the armor, and then they're back to being a very strong defense. So I'm just not messing around with. I said it on the wide receiver show that TMC would be a guy that I would be looking to bench. So I can't talk about starting him here. So it'd be Diggs, Devonta, and then Gaskins and Daryl Williams for me. Would you drop Freeman or a quarterback?
Yes.
Wait. Drop Freeman for a quarterback or Tony. Carn, let us know who your quarterback is. But yeah, I don't think you need to hold on to Freeman at this point. Even if Latavius Murray doesn't get his lead back role, his lead back role back, he's still going to be splitting time with Latavius. So I'm not really looking to hold on to Freeman. So I think you can do it. But let us know who your other quarterback is. Burrow over Russ.
This I think you can do. This I think you can do. I do not mind doing this. I like Joe Burrow a lot this week. And And so I just like this game a lot, this game environment altogether. And so I think you can play Burrow, especially especially I would be more inclined to do it if Kyler Murray's out, because it just lines up more we know Pete Carroll has a hard on for running the ball. And so if you're facing their number 3 quarterback, they have no problem with just running the ball. And so I would be worried about his ceiling, where I feel like this Raider Bengal game can be a shootout. And so I want to go Burrow here.
Easy money. Sorry that we did not see this earlier. Hope you're still rocking with us. Appreciate you tossing us some support there. Full PPR, Gallup, Cooks, or Deontay?
That's a much harder question than it should be.
Yes.
Because I have not seen this. If Ben is out, are they going Mason Rudolph? Is that who they're going with? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because it seemed like Dwayne Haskins does not give a shit. Apparently, during warm-ups, he was like checking his phone and like lazily throwing passes around. Like wasn't really into it. So it seems like Dwayne Haskins has not changed his approach as a professional since leaving Washington. So it's
That's so frustrating because Mason Rudolph looked fucking terrible last week.
He's not it. He is not it.
And so you would think logically this would be like, okay, Big Ben can't go. Let's see what Dwayne Haskins got. But I did not hear that. So
yeah, I guess checking his phone and all kinds of shit.
So I'm going to say this: if Big Ben plays, I'm going Deontay. If Big Ben is in, go Deontay. If not, go Brandon Cooks.
That's where I lean as well. Appreciate that. EMS. Russ or Tua from Brian?
Did we already have this?
I feel like we've had a bunch of these combinations. I can't remember if we had this one. Where are you going here for? I know Brian did not ask the question.
Yeah,
yet.
I thought someone else had a combination. Anyways, I would still I probably would go Russ, but if you're shooting for upside, which I know, Brian, you are in your situation in your league, I would probably go Tua. Just because I think he has the higher ceiling, and I know your league has some crazy scoring when it comes to quarterbacks.
Looks like a keeper league here for Mets. Hurts, Burrow, Saquon, Eli, Javonte, Carson, Foreman, Sermon. You can drop Sermon now. Diggs, AB, Julio, Myers, Hilton, Edwards, Fant, and your boy, Dan Arnold.
Solid roster. I mean, obviously losing Saquon really hurt, and then obviously Chris Carson. But in terms of who you're keeping Saquon and Javonte Williams is who I'm keeping. And I know it's like, well, you're not going to keep Diggs, but it's, for me, Javonte Williams, I think, is a locked-in top 15 running back next year. Like, locked in, we're drafting next year. He's going to be going definitely in the top 2 rounds, and I think he could end up creeping up into the first round. Like, he has been excellent this year, and we know Melvin Gordon's going to be gone. He'll be a free agent. And so, like, for me, if you can only keep 2, I'm keeping Saquon and Javonte.
Would your answer change if it was like, let's say you can only keep these guys for like a year? You know, instead of just kind of like what, for as long as you want. Would your answer change at all?
No.
Okay.
Just because I think it's so much easier if you can only keep 2 as well. I mean, we know wide receiver gets pushed down every year in drafts, and so many wide receivers are going to be available. If you already got Saquon and Javonte, and like I said, I feel like, I think it seems crazy to say now, but I would be more shocked if Javonte Williams was not a top 15 running back coming off the boards next year than I would be of anything, because he is, like I said, he has been excellent this year. He's got to get hyped up. He's got to be the lead back in this offense, and it's very possible we're talking about a Broncos team that acquired, Russell Wilson, or acquired Deshaun Watson, or acquired Aaron Rodgers. And we're talking about a completely different offense. And Javonte Williams is going to be the lead back of it. And so I want those two guys because I feel like I can fill wide receiver much easier through a draft than versus keeping a wide receiver and having to try to get running backs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, they extended Tim Patrick, so wheels up for that offense. Zapita, Foreman, or Jeff Wilson? Obviously, with the news that Eli Mitchell looking doubtful to play in that game, but then McNichols being out for Tennessee.
This is tough because I think both of these guys are the starters
in great spots, yeah,
and great spots. I think I would go Jeff Wilson just because, being in this offense. But it's tough because I like Foreman a lot too. And I've said, I think Foreman is a great rest of season option as well. I think he is going to end up just taking over this backfield completely. But for this week, I would probably go Wilson.
Wilson for me as well. I just started to laugh because I thought we were going to have a disagreement. I thought you were going to go Foreman, but I am also going Wilson. Devonta Smith or Darnell Mooney for Uzi?
Devonta Smith.
Even with A-Rob being out, I still prefer Devonta there as well. Different league here for Mets. This is a 2-flex league. Should Mets make a trade? Hurts, Tanny, Zeke, Mixon, Mitchell, Sanders, Tyreek, Deontay. Man, I can't believe that's a 4-6 team.
Yeah, is this like an 8-man league? I'm just curious because of, and I say that not to, because I'm like, man, how good? Because I don't see a lot of players out here that have been out or hurt,
No.
And so it's like, how is this team 4-6? Just really bad luck. I mean, which is the stone cold worst. I've seen leagues where I've seen a league where a guy had the highest scoring team in the league and was still like second to last place. Like, just because every week it was like the guy was running up against a buzzsaw every week of teams. And so maybe that's the case here. But this is a single quarterback league. Mets, first of all, drop Ryan Tannehill. No reason to keep him. No, we're rocking with Jalen Hurts every week. Jalen Hurts is a walking QB1. He only has 1 week of not being a QB1, I think it is, or maybe it might be 2. But other than that, the dude has incredible upside. And so you can drop Tannehill. Now, in terms of making a trade, I don't know. I mean, because if you want to trade Zeke, I don't mind it. Because the frustrating thing with Zeke is I feel like he's more of a low-end RB1. Okay? He's not a top 5 guy. I don't think he has an incredibly high ceiling. On a week-to-week basis, he's fine. He's great.
Unless he's scoring multiple touchdowns.
Consistency, right? What was he? Like, the consistency's there because of all the opportunity he's seeing. So that's fine. But, I mean, if you look at him on the year, right? He only has 1 game on the entire season that he's scored in the top 5. He has, I mean, now, don't get me wrong, he still has 1, 2, actually, no, 3, 4, 8, 4 of his weeks. Only 4 of his weeks he's actually been an RB1, put up RB1 numbers. Every other week it's been RB2 or worse. And so, again, he's been consistent because outside of week 1, he scored double-digit fantasy points, but 17, 26, 20, 25, 18, 11, 12, 20. And so I don't mind trading Zeke. And I think Zeke carries enough name value that you could move Zeke. Now, okay, what are you trading him for? I guess is the next question.
Yeah.
And I think I would offer him right now, especially as a 4-6 team. I would offer Zeke for Saquon. I like that. And I think you could actually trade Zeke for Saquon plus and get something else and throw it involved with Saquon. Right? And I don't mind doing that.
Yeah. Maybe even somebody like an Austin Eckler with him having a couple down games in a row as well. Could be someone that you could look to do. But yeah, I can't believe this team is 4-6.
But other than that, I mean, I don't really want to. I mean, we don't. You don't need to trade Tyreek. You're good there. You're good with Deontay, Justin Jefferson. We're good there.
Although, unless this is like a let's say you start 2, 3, and 2 flexes, then I could see where it might get a little dicey with not having Sanders for a while. Whenever you did have Sanders, he wasn't doing anything anyway. So you're looking at, Tyreek, Deontay, Jefferson, the 3 running backs, and then like your flex after that gets a little shaky. But
I will say with this team, though, I could see maybe possibly how it is 4-6 though, because we don't have a lot of like boom guys on here, guys that are just dropping big time fantasy numbers, right? Like I said with Zeke, like Zeke's been fine, but he's not winning you your league, right? Like his win rate is not great. He's not getting you that upper echelon production that you'd be looking for from him.
Tyreek's been up and down.
Tyreek has been very up and down. Justin Jefferson's been ups and down. Deontay has struggled at times. Joe Mixon has been up and down. Elijah Mitchell has not been anybody that has a ceiling. And so, yeah, I guess as you start to look at it a little bit more, it makes a little bit more sense. Even though on paper you look at this team, you're like, man, this team is excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other thing you could do is just throw out a message to your league, say that everyone's available, and see what kind of offers you get. See if you can swing something where you're able to upgrade at one position, take a slight downgrade at another one. But there's nothing that immediately jumps out to me. Just seems like some shitty luck this year. In the flex PPR for Mr. Wong, always rocking with us, Gallup or Mooney?
Michael Gallup.
Gallup here for me as well. Packers or Colts D?
Packers.
Who the Packers have?
Bills.
Yeah. The Packers have Vikings. Colts have Bills.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I was thinking Colts, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't do the streamers this week. Like I don't love either of those.
I don't love either, but the the Packers long term, like Colts, like I don't know if you own or roster the Colts. If you do, drop them, because I think even next week I think they play the Bucks, and then after that they play the Cardinals, which I'm sure DeAndre Hopkins will be back by then, Kyler Murray will be back by then. Like the Colts have a pretty strong run here of really good offenses to play, and so the Packers though have been so good. Like I would still like to play them, and I don't think you have to play the Packers. I mean, some defenses that I don't mind this week. The obvious ones like Miami stands out to me, Cleveland, but I doubt those offenses are probably our defenses are available at this point.
I mean, San Fran, maybe.
Carolina, if they're sitting out there, love them. I love Carolina as an option. Yeah, San Fran, if they're out there, for sure. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think Philly, I think their defense makes some sense this week going up against the Saints. I think those are kind of the two teams that I would kind of be looking at to target. Maybe the Chargers, especially if they're going to be without Big Ben. Don't mind that either.
Yeah, those are the ones we kind of just routed off there. Those are all teams that I would prefer to the two that you mentioned there, Karn. Trimsy, Sanders, Elijah Moore. Thank you for throwing the E in there, Trimsy. That is helpful. And Renfro. We need 2 of these 3. I'm locking in Renfro.
I'm assuming that's Manny Sanders.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, then I would go Manny.
Manny and Renfro. Abraham has a little tight end conundrum. Conklin, Ingram, Troutman.
I'm going to go Conklin.
Troutman is interesting. Especially going up against Philly.
It is a excellent matchup. Philly is terrible against tight ends, and so it's not a bad matchup for him whatsoever. So I don't mind him. I think it's really close between Conklin and Troutman, but I just don't know what Troutman's ceiling is either. That's the only thing that worries me with him.
Yeah, and Penn State great Juwan Johnson still being involved as well, even though Troutman's usage numbers have been increasing. I'm also going to rock Conklin there with you. Ayuk or Agnew? Here we go, baby. Who do you like here for the easy money, Siciliano?
I'm gonna go Brandon Ayuk. I really don't mind, honestly, Jamal Agnew this week. I don't.
No?
I think he's like a top 40 option.
Yeah, hey man, dude's explosive for whatever reason. He is being used the way that Laviska Shenault should be used, and before him, it was ETN who was going to be used that way. So I don't mind it. I really don't mind it either. But yeah, hard pressed to sit Ayuk in favor of Agnew this week.
Speaking of Travis Etienne, I will say this: just and now while I'm thinking about it and seeing Mets question about keeper league stuff, with us getting closer to the playoffs time, and if you're a team that's not going to make it, this is the time to start loading up on guys for possibly next year. Like Travis Etienne would be actually, if he's available, if he's sitting out there and nobody has him, this is a good time to pick him up and roster him in keeper leagues, I should say. I want to clarify that. In any keeper league, just because we don't know where he's going to be valued next year and how this could look for next year for him. And so if you have the extra roster spot and like you don't feel like you're going to make the playoffs, he's a smart ad right now. I actually, in my keeper league, I actually traded him for Jerry Jeudy, which worked out for me. But anyway, I think that's a low-key smart move to start looking at those sorts of things, guys that have been injured for the year and people have dropped.
Good little nugget there. Aqua wants to know our thoughts on Pittman. We do not like the matchup. I honestly don't know if Trey White has been shadowing or not. I don't know if Kev, if you know that off the top of your head, whether or not he's been traveling with number ones. But even if he's not, don't love the matchup for Pittman because I think that the Bills defense is going to be able to get pressure to Wentz as well. And we know what, the mistakes in boneheaded plays that Wentz can make whenever he is under pressure. So even if Trey White isn't shadowing and sticking to Pittman for the entirety of the game, it's not a great matchup, but you might not have any better options to plug in ahead of him.
It doesn't look like he has not really shadowed anybody this year.
Okay. So obviously makes it a little bit better outlook for Pittman, but still overall not a great matchup. TB12 Goatman, pick 2 full PPR: Wilson, Jacobs, Ingram, AJ, Dillon.
We're definitely locking in AJ Dillon, 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a top 10 option this week, and then from there I would go Jeff Wilson.
You like Wilson over Jacobs?
Yes. It's because the other little nugget here is that JaMychal Hasty's also out. And so you only have him and really Trey Sermon. And do you Kyle really Shanahan hates Trey Sermon. The best, I think I showed it in one of the chats, but the best tweet I saw this week was somebody put up a picture on Twitter, put up a picture of Trey Sermon and said, Keyshawn Vaughn's cousin. I was like, oh, that's excellent. That is 100% excellent. So
the second part of that equation cuts deep. I was a Keyshawn guy whenever he came out.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I know. So was I.
Cardinals 4 and 6.5 PPR. I want to acquire AJ Brown, Keenan, or T/Chase. Pieces are Barkley, Eckler, Debo, Devonta, Gronk, Wilson, Edmonds, Knox, Claypool, Collins, and a B. Think you're gonna have to dangle out Debo?
I don't think you do anything, Karn. I don't think you do anything here. Some of the reasons why you're 4 and 6 is because you were missing Saquon Barkley, and now we're getting him back. And so the problem is something I talked about in the video I did for the running backs this week, the buy low or the buys on the running backs, is we often try to always go to the top of the totem pole of we try to acquire players. Like it's like, oh, I want to go get AJ Brown. Well, AJ Brown's going to cost a lot. And so you're gonna have to give up. If you give up Debo, like, is that helping you? Is that making you better? No, it's not. And like, okay, well, what are you gonna do to get Keenan? Okay, well, you're gonna have to probably give up. That's Devonta Smith. Let's say you're gonna have to give up him. You're probably gonna have to give up. I don't know, Claypool, or you know what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna give up multiple pieces to get these guys. You're not gonna be able to go after and get the top guys like that. So, like, to me, I think it's much smarter to look at rest of season schedules and stuff like that, and try to go attack guys who aren't in this upper ranges, aren't going to cost a lot. That's why I brought up guys like David Montgomery, for example. I don't think it would take a lot to acquire him. DJ Moore would be a good guy to go try to acquire, because of I don't think it's going to take as much to acquire him. But getting these upper T. Higgins is the one guy I think you have on this list that I don't mind trying to get, because he hasn't really went off and he's been close. And he's actually out-targeted Jamar Chase. But, like, getting Jamar Chase or A.J. Brown or Kean Allen is going to take a lot. And you're just really going to be shipping out one piece for the next. So I would prefer trying to go after and get some of the smaller pieces that I think would be more easily attainable.
If you could do, like, a Devonta and Claypool for, let's say, a Keenan, is that something you would look to do?
I think you could, but I don't know if you're making that deal. I don't know if that would get it done. I mean, maybe with the way Devonta Smith has played the last couple of weeks. But Chase Claypool has been an absolute zero.
Yeah. And Debo to Keenan is kind of a lateral move at that point too. So yeah, if you can package up, Devonta and Claypool, maybe you just throw that out on your chat. Yeah,
or go see who has Elijah Mitchell, and try to trade Jeff Wilson, right? And move Jeff Wilson, because Jeff Wilson's not going to be the starter every single week.
Yeah,
Elijah Mitchell's going to come back and be the starter. So try to move Jeff Wilson to go see who that guy has, whoever has him, and go after that.
Yeah, I think that is a low key good move as well. Walito, appreciate that $5 holla.
It is. It's almost Thanksgiving. Favorite slate of the year. It's gonna be good times.
I do enjoy, like, Thanksgiving is key. Thanksgiving is key. MJ, the Pug Lord. Is that Pug God? Pug Lord?
I think it's the Pug Lord.
Pug Lord. Taylor, Hendy, Carter, Ingram. Trade away Ingram to upgrade another position.
Yeah, what is it that you need? I mean, I think you could try. I'll say this: I don't love getting rid of, like, running backs, but I think Ingram is a one you can get rid of, because it's not like he's going to come back and bite you, unless Alvin Kamara got ruled out for the rest of the year or something like that. That would be the only way that really comes back to bite you in the ass. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I do think it's possible we see Kamara miss multiple weeks now, because he tried to come back and then he re-aggravated. It feels a little bit like Christian McCaffrey, right? Where Christian McCaffrey tried to come back, he re-aggravated it, and then he got put on IR. I have not heard anything that they're planning on putting Alvin Kamara on IR, but it is concerning that he came back, practiced on Wednesday, and then boom, he missed again. So, I think you could, but it's like I said, I just get nervous because if something that did happen, then you would feel really stupid, because then you had Melvin Ingram, who we saw is going to be heavily utilized as a pass catcher, in the absence of Alvin Kamara. Michael Carter's no sure thing, but then you're really thin at running backs at that point. So again, it would just really depend on what you need. Like, what are we just trading Mark Ingram to trade Mark Ingram, or is there something that you actually need to need? Then no, I wouldn't mind it. But I typically don't like to trade running backs.
And especially if we're looking at another position too, like, you're not going to get anything for Ingram at tight end that's going to be an upgrade. Like what kind of level wide receiver are you looking at to trade away, who, like you're saying right now, there's no indication that this is going to be a multi-week long-term absence as of right now for Kamara. So, like, where are you going with, at wide receiver to upgrade as well? Yeah, MJ, let us know what the rest of your squad looks like, to see if there's something that sticks out and makes sense. Schultz or Petty Fry this week for Crip?
I think this is actually easy now with Amari Cooper out. I think this is pretty easy, Dalton Schultz. And the Chiefs have struggled stopping tight ends, so I think it's pretty easy, Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz for me as well. No, I've never seen a single Marvel.
Like you never even seen like the Iron Mans, the
closest.
Americas.
No, the closest thing I've seen is Dark Knight, which is.
Are you just fucking with me now?
I said the closest thing.
Because Dark Knight's not Marvel.
I said the closest thing.
Are you just not a movie guy at all? Like you just don't care to watch movies at all?
Not really. Like my time is so limited, and my television has been taken over by a 3-year-old terrorist. So like it's just.
Does he watch Coco Melon?
He never got too big into Coco Melon. He was a big Paw Patrol kid for a while. Man, what else did he get into? Bubble Guppies, if you know the Bubble Guppies, he's into that. But and then he was really into like Halloween YouTube videos, like 3 months before Halloween, and now he is all about the Grinch life. We just have Grinch on repeat, but it's nice to be able to give him like a laptop at this point and just like put him on YouTube, and like he knows how to scroll and all that shit. Like, dude, I'll watch him like, man, should my kid know how to like scroll and find YouTube videos already? But then I'm like, he's being quiet, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough call. Has he got into Thomas the Train?
For a little bit, he'd be like, he was hit and miss with it. Like he'd watch it for a couple of days, and then like he won't watch it for like 2 or 3 months, and like then he'll randomly ask for it. So nothing consistent. A lot of PJ Masks is the other one that he's all about.
Because my daughter, she's 1, and she is obsessed with Coco Melon, like obsessed with Coco Melon. She's an addict, really.
Have you seen the TikToks where it starts off with like the Coco Melon theme, and someone just goes, "Fuck"?
No, I've not seen that. That's funny.
Yeah, parent feels. Anyway, William Juarez, Waller or Foreman at the flex?
Darren Waller.
Yeah, gotta go Waller. Aiden rocking with us. Kean Allen, Chris Godwin, AJ Dillon have to sit one of them. PPR. Man,
I'm gonna stick Chris Godwin. I can't sit AJ Dillon. Right? And so like he's locked. And so then it's Kean Allen or Chris Godwin. And it's tough because both of them are strong. The only thing that worries me about Godwin is the foot injury that he has. And you aggravate that, something happens, he leaves the game. I don't know. It is a good matchup for him against the Giants. But Kean Allen has been seeing such a ridiculous amount of targets, and so it's this is one is super tough. But I just cannot sit AJ Dillon in this spot. And so you're gonna have to sit one of those wide receivers. And if I have to sit one, it's gonna be I would actually, if you just really want to flip a coin, Aiden, you could, because I think both of them are great spots. Like, so both of them are great starts. But I just slightly prefer Keaton just because I think he has a clear path to receptions, which is crazy because like normally you'd be like, oh, this is easy to sit AJ Dillon, but you can't, because AJ Dillon is going to see an excellent and a massive amount of touches in this game, and we saw him last year what he can do with a full workload.
I'm going to buy myself a little bit of extra time here. Aiden, why can't we start Keenan and Godwin? Who else are we starting at wide receiver that we can't get both those guys in? I'm gonna buy myself a little bit of extra time because I do not want to answer that question. Gaskin, Taylor, Foreman, Beasley, Elijah Moore, Bateman, Williams, Kelsey, and Waller need 2. Okay. Gaskin, Taylor, Foreman. We need 2 running backs out of there.
Gaskin and Taylor.
2 wide receivers, Beasley, Elijah Moore, Bateman. I'm assuming Mike Williams.
Bateman and Williams.
And then we need a flex, and this is where Waller.
Yeah, so Kelsey and Waller.
Okay. Tam rocking the super flex team here. 2 wide receivers, 2 flex options are Cooks, DK, DJ, Gallup, and D. Ernest. So no super flex consideration here. 2 wide receivers out of that group. DK for sure, locking him in.
And Brandon Cooks.
2 flex. More Gallup, D. Ernest.
2 flex are going to be Moore and Michael Gallup. Nick Chubb's back. So, I mean, Dearness Johnson, I think, is still a really strong flex option for most people. But in your situation, no. I'm not sitting DJ Moore and Michael Gallup for Dearness Johnson when Nick Chubb is back.
Tua or Carr?
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one there. I'm gonna go Tua.
I'm going Tua there as well. The Bengals defense has been up and down, and the Jets defense has just been down. So I'm gonna go Tua there. Ingram over Gibson at the flex. I'm not doing that. So that Philly run defense has been better. I know that they're still the better matchup between them and Carolina, but with the Saints missing both of their starting tackles, I'm still going to go Gibson there. I think his touch ceiling, we saw last week, had 24 carries, I believe, or at least 24 touches, something like that. I know he tacked on like another catch or 2. So not super involved in the passing game, but he really hasn't been all year anyway. I still like Gibson there.
Yeah, this one's close because
closer than it should be.
Ingram saw 7 targets last week, and so I mean Gibson ain't seeing that.
No,
but I think I go Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, Tua over Cam Karn. Chosen row started Nick Folk and Pat's D got 42 points.
That is, you just love to see that, and it makes you feel great too from Friday and Saturday
on a Thursday. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's the worst.
That is the worst.
The worst part is too, people in your league start talking shit, if you're struggling and shit like that, and but yet their team is like 7th in scoring. So their team really hasn't been good. They've just been that lucky team who just seems to every week they play the team who scores the least amount. That's the worst. Whenever you see that, I've seen some talk about some of that stuff on Twitter through the years of allocating playoff spots for the team who scores the most points is an automatic in and stuff like that, which I think makes sense because when you're playing head to head, it's all about, you have no idea, it's just completely random whenever you set the schedule. So you have no idea. And you could get totally unlucky and just, and like I said, be a team that's the top scoring team and maybe you don't make the playoffs. It's certainly possible. And so I think things like that, if you're the top scoring team, that means you had the best team all year and you should be rewarded for that. It would be a real shitty thing to miss the playoffs. So certain aspects like that of doing stuff like that, I don't hate.
Yeah, my home dynasty league, the first 5 teams that get in are just the records, and then that last one is for if it's not the next best record, it's the highest points. You know what I mean? If say the next team that's getting in is fucking 5-5, you know what I mean, has a 500 record, but there's a team sitting out there that just same thing, just shitty, just random buzzsaws, but it's clearly the highest points. That last spot is always reserved for the team. That's, you know, if the next best team doesn't have the most points get in.
Yeah, I like that. I think there
Yeah.
should be more consideration for stuff like that, because you would think that the highest scoring team would be in the playoffs, but it's not always the case.
Yeah. Uzi, yeah, this obviously with CMC coming back, that's a huge boost. Ridley, that sucks. Terry McLaurin, D-Hop, those are all rough there at wide receiver. I mean, you're talking about guys that, you know, we had Ridley, McLaurin, and D-Hop all as top 12 options this year going into the season, and obviously that has not panned out for really any of them, to be honest. But I would look to move to. I mean,
so here's the thing that I would say, that at least, you know, maybe not for this year so much, but for this moving forward, Uzi, you don't need 2 quarterbacks, you don't need 2 tight ends, you don't need 2 defenses. I don't know if some of that's been picked up just for this week or whatever, but if you've been carrying that all year, like, it's just you're burning roster spots every single week, right? And I can't tell you enough, like, how many, like try to be proactive with things, right? With adding players, because like the Deonta Foreman thing should have been something that people should have, you know, proactively did before, you know, now he became like a kind of a hot waiver ad, because it's like a guy that comes to mind for me right now that people should be rostering that they're not is Salvon Ahmed. Because like I think that he could end up taking over this backfield. Like Myles Gaskin has done nothing to solidify himself as the best running back in this backfield. And like he's a guy that I could see take over the backfield. Like I always try to be proactive, like Saturday night or Sunday morning. Like look at your teams, and see like is there anybody sitting out there that could end up having a good week this week that will end up being the top waiver ad? Because if you're, you know, trying to be proactive with it, I think it's smart. And so, but carrying all these extra pieces, like I get it that like you don't really have an elite quarterback, and so like, you know, if you want to stream, but there's no reason to carry 2 quarterbacks. Tight ends, same thing. Gronk is not somebody that you should have kept a hold of all year. You know, like Gronk is an old tight end. You know, if you dropped him, whatever. Like he's not going to kill you. And so, and then you have 2 defenses, which we never should keep 2 defenses ever.
Yeah.
And because you could drop the Steelers. The Steelers have done nothing. You know, as a defense, especially lately. I mean, last week felt like a great matchup for them against the Lions. Did shit, right? And they have so many injuries along like defense now too. And so I would just drop the Steelers. I would drop whoever quarterback you're not starting, so whether that's Cousins or Tua, and then, you know, drop. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could keep a hold of Gronk now if you want and see how he does this week, but I just don't like carrying 2s in positions you can't start 2 up. But yes, but this team is tough because you've missed so many players, right? Ridley's, I don't know when Ridley's coming back. D-Hop, I don't know when he's coming back. Like he could possibly, I think he'll be back.
And he's been a disappointment too.
Yeah, and he hasn't been great. Terry McLaurin hasn't been great. Like it's just you just kind of ran rough. Like, can you? As long as Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, I think you have a shot, because Christian McCaffrey is just kind of a cheat code. And Waddle, I think, has been strong. You know, I would say if you could pull off a win this week, and let's say Terry McLaurin does have a big game, I think I would look to trade him. I think you still could trade DeAndre Hopkins even though he's hurt, depending on what you can get. I'm not giving him away by any means. I think you could do the same thing with Terry McLaurin, but I'm not giving them away. I want fair value for them. I'm not just going to give them away to somebody. But I think now is the time. You're 4-6. Like, get super aggressive, because there's no reason to be scared now and be worried about, oh, if I give this guy away or whatever, because you're 4-6. You're kind of a loss, or probably at most 2 losses, and you're done. If probably less than that. You probably have 1 loss left in you that you might be able to make it, but 2 at the most. And so it's time to get super aggressive.
Uzi, I would go look at the clear leaders in your leagues, that, you know, the top team, the top 2 teams, and see if you can come up with a deal for D-Hop, because you might still be able to get some name value out of him. So see if there's somebody, you know, maybe it's on their bench, if it's a stacked team, that might look at it as like, okay, I can give up, you know, say it's like T. Higgins and somebody. Like, I think T. Higgins is probably going to be more valuable for your team than somebody like D-Hop. So see if you can make a trade like that, where you might be able to get one of the top teams to take D-Hop, and they can kind of just chill on their bench to see how that goes, because he has been disappointing, just not seeing the same target share with the other weapons that they have. Abraham looks like, or Walito, Abraham's coming for the throne here, buddy. You better step it up. I don't.
Well, you can have. I think you can have more than one moderator, but
Yeah.
But how do you become one? We award it to you, Abraham. Is Abraham in the Discord?
I don't believe
he might be. We just don't know his name and realize it's him. But
yeah,
if he's not, that's one way you have to be. You can't ask how you be a moderator and not be in the Discord. But yeah, I mean, hey, I have no problem with giving multiple people Discord, because we've seen before, Walito dropped the ball and let just crazy stuff happen in the chat sometimes, But I will say there's nobody that's been around or is in these chats more than Walito is. So I'm always going to bust his balls, but at the same time, Walito is always here and very much.
It was an earned moderator crown for sure. Speaking of guys who've been rocking with us, TK here.
I haven't seen TK in a while. Where's TK been? I haven't seen him I haven't at least seen him on the YouTube streams in a while.
Yeah, in the Discord, TK is in the Discord. Monty, Gaskin, Jacobs. Pick one.
Oh, one. Am I really gonna do it? Myles Gaskin, I want to play David Montgomery, but it's just not the best matchup for him. And this is such a great matchup for Myles Gaskin, but
I can't go Gaskin. I'm going to go Monty here. I can't do it.
And I don't blame you for it, TK. If you want to go Monty, I would go Monty. But I just love the upside for Myles Gaskin in this matchup.
Here is Sir Thomas Corson.
What does this guy have as his picture? What is that? Is that a fantasy trophy?
Hey, if you got it, flaunt it.
What a act like you've been there before, Tom. Okay, act like you've been there before. By the way, you can watch Tom and Cody tomorrow night with the player props. I need to get on one of those player prop shows and just drop straight fire. Okay. I think I would win every single prop that I dropped.
Well, why don't you bet props then?
Because I live in Missouri and you can't fucking bet props. That's why.
Excuses. Carter or Bateman here for Sir Thomas?
Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman for me as well. I do not like Carter's matchup.
Mets, let us know who they actually have. I want to know the roster. Tell me the roster. Because the 2-for-1, you're not getting a great piece back. But I think you could get a useful piece, right? Do they have a Tony Pollard or a Alexander Madison? A handcuff back that could have some value. Maybe a wide receiver I don't know, Jacoby Myers or. Trying to think of some other guys, even an Allen Robinson or something like that. Guys who are, you're not going to get two great assets for Saquon.
Yeah.
But I think you could, if by giving Zeke, I think you could get a lower end asset. And I don't mind, this is the time to acquire handcuffs now. We don't want handcuffs at the beginning of the year. You want handcuffs for this time forward, because we're getting to the point, especially in the next couple of weeks, that if somebody gets hurt, a running back goes down, and it's even a moderate injury, they're done for the year, because by that point the season's almost over, and that's how you get league winners, because these guys get ruled out and wrapped up, and they're out for the year. And so this is the time to really start acquiring the handcuff backs.
Agreed. Mark Ingram or D. Ernest?
Mark Ingram.
If Miles plays,
I'm still going to go Mark Ingram.
Okay.
It's just the Saints are one of the best run defenses in the league. I'm not playing Miles Sanders. Unless you have to.
Burrow or Tua?
This is Burrow for me.
Burrow for me as well. Would we do Alex Collins and Claypool for DJ Moore?
I like that.
Yeah, I would do that. Another trade question here for Karn. Looking to acquire Monty, Carter, or Eli Mitchell. CMC, Gaskins, Daryl Hunt, Diggs, TMC, Pittman, Gesicki, Devonta, Ayuk.
I think
pray that Gaskin has the game that Kev thinks he's gonna have, and I would take Eli over Gaskins. That's a trade out.
Well, I think something else you could do. I think you could trade offer Terry McLaurin for David Montgomery, and I think that might get it done. Because you're still good. You still got Diggs. You still got Pittman. You still got Devonta Smith. I assume that's who that is. And then, Ayuk. So you're really still solid at wide receiver. Yeah. You can take that loss and get David Montgomery. Now I think you feel much better about having CMC, CMC Montgomery. Like we've already talked about, Montgomery has a great rest of season schedule. Really passed this week against Baltimore. I like that. Yeah. Yes. She's addicted. She's like literally like she doesn't really care about anything else. But if somebody says Coco, like, and then she starts doing this like she gets all excited. She knows what's coming, and a lot of times she'll actually just pick up the remote and hand it to me, and it's like because she can't really talk yet. She's just turned 1, but she points at the TV like with the remote. Hey. Motherfucker, I don't care what you're watching. Coco Melon time. Turn it on. Yeah.
Yep. Just oh man. Kids.
I know.
We need 3 here for TK. Wilson, Elliott, Connor, Eckler.
Eckler, Elliott, Wilson. Jeff Wilson scares the shit out of me too, though, because it's like Shanahan. Like imagine if all of a sudden, like, hey, let's see what Trey Sermon's got. Let's let him be the lead back to this week,
or Kyle Jeswick.
Yeah, but on paper, this sets up to be a great matchup for Jeff Wilson, and especially without Jermichael Hasty, he is a pass catcher, so he's going to get opportunities as a pass catcher. I like James Conner, but if it's their third string quarterback, I don't love James Conner. But let me put it this way. I'll say this. It's Elliott, Eckler, and if Kyler Murray plays, I would probably start Conner. If Kyler Murray's out, go Wilson.
Yes. I agree there. Tam is looking to potentially drop TJ Hawkinson for Arnold, Patty, Conklin. Or would you drop – so we're not – I mean, maybe Van Jefferson.
You're not dropping. I'm not dropping TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawk. What?
Would you drop Van Jefferson for? I want Dan Arnold out of that group. Would you drop Van Jefferson for Arnold? Would you be able to get yourself to start Dan Arnold over Hawk?
I think matchup dependent. Yeah, I think you could. Watch TJ Hawkinson this week. Go out and have a big game without Jared Goff.
8 for 102.
Yeah. But I'm not dropping Hawkinson for sure. But
yeah, can't drop Hawk. And obviously out of that wide receiver group,
the only option would be Van Jefferson.
Yeah. I personally would not. I like the potential upside that Van Jefferson has. I know Odell's going to have this bye week to really get into the playbook and get settled in that offense, but that's just a scenario where I like, even with as disappointing as Hawkinson has been, I just don't know if I would be able to get myself to drop one of those guys in order to play Arnold over Hawkinson. I do like Arnold, but I don't know if I could do it at the expense of TJH. You got RD and RC rocking with us. Good to see the two Ronnies, Ronalds in here. Thoughts on Mclaren, his matchup this weekend. Ronnie, I talked about this a little bit earlier. I would look to bench Mclaren. Now, it obviously depends on who you have behind him, but this is a guy who, especially if you're looking to make your way into the playoffs and you need to try and, do whatever you can. I think Mclaren is a guy that you could absolutely consider benching this weekend. Not a great matchup for for Washington across the board with that D line going up against Washington's O line. Obviously, with the secondary that Mclaren is going to be matched up with. So here we go.
So, Ronnie, I would say this. So, McLaurin's going to be seeing a lot or mostly Dante Jackson. And Dante Jackson has been really good this year. He is allowing only a 59.6% catch rate and a 70.3 passer rating, which is really good. And so he's been really good. He's going to see the majority of him. I mean, they're not going to shadow coverage him with Dante Jackson, but that's going to be the guy he sees the most. He's going to see some Stephon Gilmore and then as well, but I think he sees the majority of Dante Jackson. And like I said, Dante Jackson has been really
good. Diggs and Bateman also for Ronnie. I would start both those guys over McLaurin. Obviously Diggs, but I would start Bateman over McLaurin this week.
I don't know if I have that kind of.
Especially if Marquis is going to be either out or potentially limited. Like I said, 2 DMPs got a limited practice on Friday.
I think you can if you wanted to go Rashad Bateman. I think I think he's a bit safer than Terry McLaurin because of the matchup that he's going to be getting. But I still think Terry McLaurin has a higher ceiling.
Tam needs a defense. Fins, Pack, Titans, Panthers.
Give me the Fins.
Yeah, it's very hard not to say Miami at this point. I'm going to rock with Miami there as well.
Old Ron finally decided to show up. Thank you for joining us, Ron.
Oh man, Ron is keeping the Discord very active as well. Got Justin rocking with us. Justin also in the Discord. Said link in the description below.
Yeah, well, I'll say this too, Ron. Ron is definitely in the running. If you want to be a moderator, he's in the power rankings for sure. With as much as he's around with the Discord and in here, much appreciated.
Yes, very, very, very much so. So we got a little update on the DJ Moore trade here from Karn. Knox, AB, and Elijah Moore for Freiermuth and Moore.
Try to offer him, take out AB and try to offer him Claypool. Knox, Claypool, and Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Carr, I think your team is strong enough that you could string together a couple of wins, and AB's
he's trending in the right direction of returning.
Yeah, trending in the right direction, and also his schedule the rest of the way is pretty nice as well. I think the first buy sell video we did, I talked about AB as a buy for people who were kind of in control of their leagues. So I would also like to switch out AB if I could. Let's say that Claypool doesn't go through.
Sorry. I just saw Ron. Sorry, I saw the chat. I saw Ronald say, "I honestly don't know what a moderator is."
Anyway, let's say he goes to Claypool, comes back and says no. Are you doing Knox, AB, and Elijah Moore for Patty and DJ?
I would say no.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
I don't know. Like, it's crazy because, like, with DJ Moore, obviously, I mean, the ceiling is super high, right? But with AB and Knox, we've seen what Knox can do when he's healthy. He'll be, he's getting healthier and healthier every game he plays. I think he gets back to being more involved in the offense. Like, I think you could do it because I don't mind this. Like, I think it's there, and I guess that's what we're kind of shooting for anyway. Is ceiling when you're 4-6. So getting DJ Moore, especially with Cam Newton being here now, like I think you could, yes. But I would offer first. I would counter it with Claypool, and if not, and I think if you really wanted to do it, I don't mind it.
Okay. Chase or AJ Dillon in full PPR. We need a safer option here for Justin.
Justin, who are we starting at running? Like, that we can't get?
I mean, safer, obviously, AJ Dillon, right? The guaranteed touches.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Dillon is the safer option for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought, never mind. Carton Tannehill and trade one of them plus Ingram from Kyler Murray or Stafford.
I don't think you're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, you might. And honestly, I think if I was going to do it, I might lean Stafford because Kyler Murray has not been running the ball at all this year. At all. Like, even before he was hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do something like that, for sure, go ahead and do it. But I don't think Ingram is going to get you the gap between Carr or Tanny for one of those. Justin needs a QB streamer here. Danny, Cam, Jimmy, Fields, Wentz.
If I knew that Cam Newton was going to play the whole game, I think he would definitely be. It would be either him or Fields, but I think I'm going Fields. Here, and especially because I think just like rest of season, I don't know if you have another quarterback that, but Fields, I really like rest of season. I think what we saw from him for those 2 games before the bye, him really starting to take steps forward this year, really started to be able to hit deep balls, and so I like Justin Fields, especially with his rushing upside, and so I would go Fields here.
I'm going to go Danny Dimes. Just because with Fields more than likely missing A-Rob, who are they trotting out? A receiver. It's going to be Mooney, Komet, Dave Montgomery potentially.
Marquis Goodwin.
Yeah, just give me Danny Dimes with his weapons going up against Tampa, where we know obviously we're expecting Chicago to be playing from behind as well, but the Giants there too. So I'm gonna go Danny, but my second one would be Fields, but I have Danny like a tier ahead of the rest of these guys. Ashton rocking with us. Ayuk, Edwards, Landry, Eli, Foreman. We need Dos Equis.
I'm going Deonta Foreman.
He is the lock here out of this group.
And then I'm gonna go with Brandon Ayuk.
I'm gonna go Foreman and Edwards. I just see a scenario with San Fran where they just jump up to a lead and then just pound the ball kind of like what we saw them do against the Rams, except not expecting the Jags to be fighting back the way that the Rams did.
Listen here, you son of a bitch. You ever talk about the Santa hat again? You're out. You're done. You're fired. Okay. This is the goat hat. Wish we get the full effect, but the light's so bright. Let me see. What happens if I shut this light off? Oh, there we go. Oh man, why am I doing this the whole time? Look at this. This is where it should have been at. I messed up
Tom,
with having another light on.
Tom, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy.
I've been thinking about how I could spice this up even more. I'm thinking about putting some other Christmas lights back behind me, or maybe just wrapping them around me. So, anyway,
4-6 here for Antonio. 10-man big money league. Russ, Najee, Dalvin, nice. Keenan, Deontay, nice. Waller, J. Rob. There you go. Madison, Ingram, Wilson, Odell, Elijah Moore, Pollard.
I think this is strong, really strong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that you're only 4 and 6 because you shouldn't be.
Right.
You should be higher than that.
Yeah. Guy Montgomery is dumb. Doesn't want McLaurin, so wants Diggs and Hunt/Ayuk for Montgomery. Yikes.
Absolutely not, Karn.
That is the absolute worst. Like, to even want Diggs for Montgomery is bad enough. And then you want something on top of Diggs.
I do not get it. Those are the people that are the absolute worst that I want to punch in the throat.
Worst.
Because it's how there's no way you think that I'm that dumb that you think this is somehow a good trade, and but people just have to win the trade. They have to feel like they are just destroying you in a trade for them to accept it, right? I don't really think, honestly, is TMC for David Montgomery really unfair? I don't think that it is. I know TMC hasn't been the same guy that last year, but he still has a pretty high ceiling, and their schedule kind of really opens up a little bit in the second half, and so that's just ridiculous. David Montgomery, even in his first game back, he scored 8. He's not being involved in the passing game, and so I don't know. I hate stuff like that. I just can't stand it.
Yeah, the absolute worst. Ashton needs to drop somebody, AP, Howard, or Madison. I'm going AP.
Go ahead and drop AP and Jordan Howard. I think you can drop both of them. Honestly,
I picked up Jordan Howard in a dynasty league just to see how this split goes whenever Miles gets back, because Jordan Howard has been playing well. Much to my chagrin, as much shit as I have talked on Jordan Howard, he has been putting up solid production. And I don't know that they've been running the ball 25 times a game. I don't see Miles handling that entire workload. So I'm holding on just to see. I would drop AP for sure, and you could probably drop Howard after a couple of weeks. But I at least want to see how that looks before I would drop Howard.
The crazy part with Howard is he still has the highest amount of snaps he's played is 42%. He played 42% against the Chargers. Last week against Denver, he only played 39% of the snaps.
Crazy.
And he's an absolute zero in the passing game. But yeah, AP for sure. But if you want to keep Jordan Howard, keep Jordan Howard. But AP for sure.
This one for Ronnie Foreman or Ingram in a full PPR. I'm going Deonta. I prefer his matchup.
That was really close.
It is close. Like I said, I just give the nod for the matchup.
I'm gonna go Foreman.
Yeah.
Maybe from waivers 2 weeks ago, and I traded Judy and AP for Devon Smith.
One of those guys. So that's
why. Honestly though,
like I don't think
really, I get why he would be coming from, because AP never should have been part of the deal anyway. Wow, who trades for Adrian Peterson? But the Jerry Jeudy part, I get it, because Jerry Jeudy hasn't been great since he came back from injury. But it hasn't really been his problem either. Like the one game against Dallas, they absolutely boat raced him, so they just ran the ball the whole time. And then you have the last week game which it was a little bit gross. And so I think Judy's going to be fine. I know Devon Smith has really popped off the last couple of weeks. I think he won the trade, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. I don't think you really finessed him.
Yeah, I agree. That guy's just looking at the box scores and seeing that Devon has been playing well the past couple of weeks. We need 5 here for Justin: Zeke, JT, Diggs, Jefferson, Swift, Monty, Deontay, Jeff Wilson.
Okay, so JT is an absolute stone cold lock.
Yes.
And then we're going Swift. Zeke.
Diggs
and Jefferson.
Yes. Yahtzee. There we go. Antonio, link is in the video description. Tam, let's go. What? Hat guy.
That's what I love to see. I love hats.
How many hats do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
Not that many. I probably have 20 or so, probably.
Okay. So you're still triple digits short.
Yeah.
Ow.
Every time, though, I will say this. Anytime I have to go to Target for anything, I'm always because I always go by the Christmas section and check it out, and I always check if I always have to look at their Christmas hats, see if they got any. Do they got anything better, than what I have now? And maybe I should get some. I don't remember who it was that said I should put TFA. Was that Aqua that said that? Was that, I think it was. Anyways, I should do glitter and put TFA across it. I was like, I need to do that. I haven't done it yet. I've been dropping the ball, but I need to do that too. Just TFA it up.
Russ or Cam here for Chris. We're gonna go Russ just because of the weirdness surrounding. I want to see something out of Cam first before he's obviously the matchup is in his favor, all of that. But I want to see Cam for a week before I put him in over somebody like Russ. If we're talking a Wentz, a Kirk Cousins, that that sort of thing, a Derek Carr in that kind of territory, I would think about it. But I'm still rocking with Russ, and I expect him to bounce back after the performance last week. Santario just acquired Harrison Deontay this week, CMC for a large part of the season. Really an A-Rob, man.
Have you seen on TikTok? Have you seen which is hilarious because there's a trend that's been going around. It's from a movie, and basically this one is A-Rob, and the guy's outside of his house, and it's basically and then flashes back and forth, and it's basically on the outside him screaming, trying to stop himself from drafting.
Oh yeah. I've seen that movie. Yeah, I can't remember what movie. But I know. Yeah,
you've actually seen that movie. Okay,
I have seen that one.
Wild, but I actually thought about doing something. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, that would be an excellent sound. That'd be an excellent clip to sound to use on TikTok for fantasy football. And then a couple days later, I didn't really act on it, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, missed the boat. Excellent idea. Excellent. See, I told you, excellent idea. That was awesome. So I don't know if anybody else saw that, but I was dying when I saw that. I'm like, so true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's go. All right, looks like we have the last one here from DFS Lil Monster. Any suggestions on picking up one of the Seattle running backs, Penny, Homer, etc.?
Before we get to this, I want to ask the chat. I got a question. Do you guys prefer Friday night streams, or I should say Wednesday night streams, Friday night streams, or you don't care? I'm just curious because this is we don't normally do Fridays, but with all the crazy injuries and the news that's been coming out, and I feel like us for I feel like we do all this and we do these shows on Wednesday, and then so many things change that we don't have all the information yet. Now we actually do much more. I mean, I'm sure something crazy is going to happen tomorrow, just the way the season's gone. But it's not going to be anything that's going to completely change. So just let me know Wednesday or Friday, or you don't care. Anyways. So this one, listen, the problem with the Seattle running backs is it's funny with this week with the Seattle running backs, right? Because I hear about people talk about Alex Collins all of a sudden and everything else. And I'm like, honestly, to me, it's what are we doing? Alex Collins has been the starting running back for this team since week 4. This isn't a new thing. Chris Carson has been out for a long time. This isn't a new injury, but people we're treating it like it's something new. And I'm like, it's not. Alex Collins has been the definition of very mediocre. As a matter of fact, he has 2 weeks since. Actually, he has the week 4, I believe, when the injury occurred. He has 15.8, and then week 6 he had 16.8. Now I will say Russ has also been out, right? And so there is something to be said about that as well. With Russ being out, that obviously that hurts the offense because it's Geno, but he hasn't done anything. And so I don't know. And I don't know if they're going to give Rashad Petty any option, right? Are they going to give him any opportunities? I don't know. Rashad Petty has been the failed experiment of drafted first-round running backs right there with Sony Michel. But at least Sony Michel's actually done something in the anything. Rashad Petty has done absolutely nothing. So
not that we can take anything from anything Pete Carroll says ever, but it does seem like if he had the choice, Penny would be the guy if he could actually perform. He had a quote, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but basically just saying that we're excited to get him back. We would really like to get him going. So if he can perform, Penny would be the guy that I want. I'm not really messing with Homer because it's still going to be Collins. If Penny fails, it's still going to be Collins. I don't think Homer's going to come in and take away a lot of those looks. He'll mix in on some of the passing downs and things like that. But it's still Penny. But I don't know. It would have to be a pretty deep league for me to be dropping somebody for Penny right now. I'll say that.
Yeah, it probably would be Penny, but I think honestly, I think DJ Dallas could also be in the consideration.
Yeah,
This just isn't the backfield that I want, right? This is the backfield that I'm going to target for my handcuffs, for handcuff running backs, right? And that's the other thing too about handcuffs that's tough is that there's so many of these situations that are ambiguous backfields, right? There's only a very small handful that we just feel great about. That turns out to be an AJ Dillon type spot, right? You have Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, AJ Dillon. I guess Daryl Williams with what he's been able to do, I guess you'd consider him. He would be in that conversation. But those would be the guys you could really say that it's league winning options, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Walmart version of that would maybe be a Kenyon Drake. But I mean, we did see
Josh Jacob missed time and it still didn't come to fruition.
It's just Peyton Barber.
Very, very, very often we don't know who the backup is going to be and how this is going to play out, right? But in terms of just elite upside, and like I said, if Ezekiel Elliott tore his ACL on Sunday, Tony Pollard rest of the season would be a locked in top 12 running back.
Yes.
And I actually think we could put Khalil Herbert in that category of guys that I would want. Because we've seen him. Now, again, he doesn't have an elite ceiling, but he's somebody that I think you can feel confident enough that he would probably see and good matchups, because some of those matchups that he played in are not great matchups. Tampa Bay was in there and stuff like that. And so, anyways, those are the guys I want. I really don't feel great about covering this guys. And then yes, saw the video, which
Devontae Adams said it best when he said that dude needs to be thrown under the prison, not in prison, under the prison, like buried.
Yeah, because it was funny. I mean, it's not funny, but I
shit.
shouldn't say that at all. But like, it's like Zach Stacy will used to always hold a special place in my heart because he was that second. Like, he is actually could be considered a poster boy for what we were just talking about. With I remember when that happened, and that I can't remember who it was, but whatever, he took over in the backfield. I always forget who the other running back was. But there was another running back, everybody, it might have been like Beanie Cunningham or something like that everybody said was going to be the starter. And I was like, no, it's going to be Zach Stacy. So I added Zach Stacy while everybody else went after the other guy. And it ended up being Zach Stacy. And Zach Stacy went off in the second half and won both championships. But yes, fuck that guy. Like, yeah, there's no excuse for it whatsoever.
No. Like, thankfully he stopped. That could have ended up way worse for her.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Andy coming through with the super chat. Appreciate it. I think it's the first time I've seen Andy's name in here too. Just coming through with the super chat. Really appreciate that. But Andy was offered Eckler for Kelsey. Also said Eckler Hawk for Kelsey and Jacobs. I would not want to trade. Andy, who else do you have at running back? I mean, I'm still leaning toward not trading Eckler for Kelsey, especially with
no. Is he offered Eckler for Kelsey? So he was offered he wants to trade him Eckler for Kelsey, correct? He said he was offered Eckler for Kelsey. So he'd be getting Eckler.
Okay.
I would assume that's what he's saying. So if that's what he's saying, I would actually just do the Eckler for Kelsey, not give up Jacobs, because you don't need Hawkinson. And actually, with having Fant and Darren Arnold on waivers, there's plenty out there on waivers. If that's the case, but that's the way I'm reading it. Oh, he's getting Eckler. Okay, so you were reading it correctly. But it's just the way it reads. I was offered Eckler for Kelsey. So if he's getting Eckler, no, don't do that.
So you're keeping Kelsey.
No, he's getting Eckler. You had it right the first time. He's trading away Eckler. Right? He's trading Eckler for Kelsey.
Trading away Eckler.
Yes, he responded in the chat. He's getting Eckler.
He did not respond. That's Ron responding for Andy.
Oh, damn it. I fucked that whole thing up. I'm an idiot. I have Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Cook, and Mitchell. Okay, so I was right. Damn it. See? That's what I get. Then yes, just do that. Yes, I would do that. I would want Eckler for Kelsey. Yes.
Okay.
And then I would go pick up if you had to prioritize it, would you go Fant or Dan Arnold? It fucked me up when I saw that. So he's getting Eckler, and I didn't even look who the name was. I was, okay. Never mind. You're right. Anyways, so who would you prioritize on waivers?
I don't want to say this because I don't want to make you happy. But I might go Arnold.
Yeah. It's tough a little bit because Albert O is getting opportunities. Even with it Fant back.
But so being that Andy has Dalvin and Mitchell, would you just give up Jacobs just to get Hawk thrown back? Because then you have Barkley, Eckler, Dalvin, and Eli. I think I would do that knowing those are the other running backs.
So you'd have Barkley, Dalvin Cook.
Barkley,
Austin
Dalvin,
Eckler.
Eli, and Eckler.
So you'd have 4. Andy, what's the starting requirements for this league? Is it 2 running backs and a flex? Is it 2 flexes? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. If I don't have to give up a running back, I don't want to.
I think the depth is there.
Because I just don't think Hawkinson is like some elite ad. I mean, Hawkinson, outside of the first 2 weeks, he has not been like, I mean, he has been so hit or miss. And so I think Arnold and Fant are fine. So if I don't have to give up Josh Jacobs to include, so it's 2 running backs and a flex. So he can only start 3. And he's 8-2. Way to go, Andy. Way to go. Excellent work. And he's 8-2 with, I mean, really, that's impressive considering Barkley's missed some time. Saquon's been out.
Dalvin.
Yeah, that's impressive. Josh Jacobs has missed time. So hey. Ronald, in the chat, Ronald, I get it that Noah Fant is a good tight end. That's not my argument. It's just that with Albert O and a team that's a run-first offense, you know, it probably would be Noah Fant, but I don't know. I think it is close with Dan Arnold. And don't you besmirch, Ronald. You were moving up the moderator power rankings around TFA, but I mean, let's be honest. You are, tread lightly when talking about Dan. This is a Dan Arnold safe haven here. We have been Dan Arnold. At least I have been a Dan Arnold fan for years, for 3 years, all the way back when he was on the Saints. Okay.
Up until now, we have just laughed in Kevin's face anytime he has tried to seriously bring up Dan Arnold, and now that's what you get for staying on the train, the bandwagon throughout this whole time. Is the fruits of your labor are now showing, and I think we can point to you as the only Dan Arnold truther in all of fantasy football.
Hey, that's error, Dan Arnold. But yes, we would make the trade, add Noah Fant, I think. I know you said Arnold. I probably slightly prefer Noah Fant. But yes, just do the 1-for-1 if you want. If you absolutely want to, I guess you can, because it is only a 2 running backs, 1 flex. But I just prefer not to give up running back depth if I don't have to. Because yes, that you would have a decent amount of running backs. But man, as we've seen this year, shit can go sideways really quickly, and I would definitely want to have depth if I could.
Noel wants to know: do I start Tanny versus the Texans or Hurts versus the Saints? Then Noel has the little matchup quandary.
So
there as well.
Noel, you are not alone. The people bring this up all the time, and I would say that it's more often than not, it just doesn't really matter about you canceling somebody out. Like, there's not really a big advantage there. Because what happens because Ryan Tannehill matters for you, right? Because quarterbacks, for the most part, if your quarterback has a bad week, like a really bad week, right, then you are probably more often than not, you're going to lose. Now, there's times that, yes, the rest of your roster could go off.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Brown can still have himself a really good day, and Tannehill's still not. Yeah, I mean, AJ can go, let's say, 70 in the score, and Tannehill throws for $190 in a score. Like, it's not really canceling out. I'm still going Hurts here over Tannehill.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hurts.
But it doesn't have anything to do with the matchup. Third team, Zeke, Mixon, Gaskin, Carter, Mike Williams, Corey Davis, Kelsey Moss, Ayuk. Which wide receiver target for a playoff run? Man.
Tyler Lockett, as a name that I really like. You'd have to do it before this weekend because if he goes off, that's toast. But I like Tyler Lockett a lot. Where'd that go? Yeah. Okay. Here. So here's a little bit of a. If I was going to be out targeting, like if I was going to trade for wide receivers, this would be the guys I would go after, right? The first one that I would have on my list would be AJ Brown. He has the 8th easiest playoff schedule remaining among all wide receivers. Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins over those last 3 weeks. He has a 26.7% target share with a 41.6% market share of the air yards on the season, but he's only averaging 13 fantasy points per game, so it really hasn't went off, but he's been absolutely efficient, just like he always is in his career. 2.57 yards per route run, which is 9th among all wide receivers, 27th in yards after the catch. So I definitely think that A.J. Brown is an option you could go after. Seattle wide receivers have the 11th easiest remaining schedule for the rest of the season and the 12th easiest playoff schedule. Tyler Lockett is actually out targeting DK Metcalf. He also has a higher market share of the air yards in this offense. And so he's getting more targets and he's getting more market share of the air yards, but everybody's always going to point to DK Metcalf as the better option. But I would disagree a little bit. And some of that's been because of Geno Smith and has been there. But I think Tyler Lockett is an elite buy low right now. He's not going to cost all that much for you to be able to get him. And he's a guy that could literally win you your league. And there's not many wide receivers that aren't the elite wide receivers that you truly can say that about. Because he's somebody that can drop a 40 burger, right? And there's just not many wide receivers that have that sort of ceiling. And then after that, you have DJ Moore. He has the 5th easiest remaining schedule. He does get the Bills, which is a tough matchup, but then you get the Bucs and the Saints to close out the season. And neither one of those are secondaries or something you should be truly worried about. He's also 4th in targets among all wide receivers, 6th in target share with a 28.3% target share. So as bad as he's been lately, you're just not going to find a wide receiver that's this rarely available that's getting 28% of the targets. On the season, he still hasn't been terrible. 57 receptions, 701 yards, 3 touchdowns, 14.7 fantasy points per game. He's also 10th in yards after the catch, and that's not surprising because he's always been a yak monster. And then I don't mind adding Robbie Anderson. And then the last one, which you already have, is Corey Davis. But for people that are listening, Corey Davis has the 4th easiest remaining schedule and the 5th easiest playoff schedule. In his 7 games that he started, he has played 83.5% of the snaps. He's third in team pass. The offense is 3rd in team pass plays per game. 20% target share with 33.2% market share of air yards. He's not a sexy buy, but he just gets all the opportunities of this offense. He has a 46.6% dominant rating, which is 1st among all wide receivers. And like I said, this isn't an elite option. This is something that I was talking about for a lot of fantasy teams that want to go out and just go after that elite echelon, that elite upper echelon of guys. Oh, I'm going to go try to get, Justin Jefferson or, guys that are going to cost a lot to acquire. You could go out and get Corey Davis right now for next to nothing, right? And I think he would be a really solid wide receiver 4 flex option for people. He's not going to win you your league, but he can help you, right? And he's somebody, if you run in a pinch, a wide receiver gets hurt, he's going to be a guy, especially with his playoff schedule, that you could feel pretty confident with plugging in there, and he could give you, 12 to 16 fantasy points in a PPR format, and that's fine. And so I really don't mind going with Corey Davis as well, even though people are just going to look at me, I don't want Corey Davis, but it's for the Jets. So,
yeah. Well, Carl was talking about buys. Noel is asking about sells at the wide receiver position, and specifically Terry McLaurin. Is he a sell candidate?
I think you can.
I'm just not sure what you're going to get in return for him at this point.
It depends on what you could sell him for. Like, if you could sell Terry McLaurin right now for Dante Johnson, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I think you could actually do that.
Any other names come to mind? What about Hollywood? Would you do McLaurin for Hollywood? Or is that a bit too low?
Yeah, I think that's too low. Especially now with Rashad Bateman back. Let me see something. Like I said, I think you could trade Terry McLaurin probably for Tyler Lockett plus a little bit extra. I think definitely Dante Johnson. You possibly could even, you're going to have to throw something else in, but I was going to say DK Metcalf, but you're probably going to have to throw something else in. But I don't think DK Metcalf is going to be as hard as to acquire as he normally would be, because he has fallen off a little bit the last couple of weeks. But I think somewhere in that range of guys that you probably could get, or you could probably drop down to a tier of like Jalen Waddle, Devon Smith, maybe even Michael Pittman, and have something else actually thrown in your way.
Terry McLaurin or DJ Moore?
I'm going to go DJ Moore.
But in that same vein, obviously, with you pausing like that. Speaking of Terry McLaurin, TMC or Bateman for Emmy?
I'm
going Bateman.
This one's really close for me, and just for this week.
Yes.
But I probably would lean Rashad Bateman. It just worries me because the Bears and the Ravens are such slow-paced teams that it's just, that's not really conducive for like great fantasy production, right? Like, we want teams that are that run extremely slow. But because Baltimore is 25th in neutral pace, and Chicago is 26th, so this is going to be a slow paced game. There's probably not going to be a ton of points scored.
What about out of this group? If we're adding in Ayuk and Higgins,
Rashad Bateman and Higgins.
Yes.
I can't believe we're here with Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin, the player. I love that dude. But get this man a quarterback. Can we just get Terry McLaurin a quarterback? I feel like Terry McLaurin is like this like new Allen Robinson, right? Because Allen Robinson for years never had a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a Rob Jr. Now this makes a lot more sense with Lil Monster wanting to know about the Seattle running backs. Like I said, I was like, I'd have to be in a really deep league to be pick 18 man. Yes, in that case, you are picking up.
Yeah, that's a little bit of information that would have been good to have. Yeah, 18-man league. Yeah, you could probably pick up Rashad Petty if you sit down.
Yes, absolutely. Alexis rocking with us. Trade deadline is almost here. Do we think she is set for the playoffs? Brady, Barkley, Najee, Henderson, Mitchell, Wilson, Adam Chase Lamb, Mike Williams, Waller, and a 10-teamer at that.
Yeah, I think that's a really solid. That's an excellent team.
Yeah.
I think you're all set.
Yeah. Got the depth at running back. If Mike Williams can start chipping in a little bit, that would be nice. But with Adams, Chase, and Lamb, Mike Williams is an afterthought there anyway. But just for depth and security purposes, it would be nice if Mike Williams could step back up. But you're not starting Mike Williams over, those running backs, assuming it's a one flex kind of league. So. Lee Shakur, what RBs would you trade Kamara for in a full PPR? Appreciate you coming through with that super chat as well, Lee. Thank you. I mean, with him missing the back-to-back weeks, you're probably going to have to take a step down. I don't think you're making a lateral trade for Kamara at this point in time.
Let me ask you: would you trade Kamara to acquire Nick Chubb?
Man, probably depend on where I'm sitting in terms of my standings. Like, if you know what I mean, like if I'm like on the outside looking, like if I'm like one of these 4 and 6 teams that we've had popping up a bunch throughout the stream, yes.
Okay, what about Zeke? I think the hard part with Kamara, it's kind of like the allure of Kamara right now, because we know what Kamara brings in the passing game. But I will say this: Kamara has like the second hardest playoff schedule for running backs. Mark Ingram came back. You all right there, buddy?
This cat's fucking me up.
I know. It's just But with Ingram there, we saw him drop it in touches and opportunities when that happened. And so he worries me. What about Saquon? Would you do it for Saquon?
Yeah. Yeah, I would do it for Saquon. I would do it for Saquon.
Because I think you could offer Kamara right now, possibly for Saquon, and that may get it done. And I actually like that.
I would do it for Eckler.
I don't know. Eckler is super frustrating. I wish they would get rid of Joe Lombardi as the damn coordinator, because that dude is awful. He ruined the Lions, and he's ruining the Chargers. The Chargers' offense should be so much better than it is.
Yeah.
But I probably would still do it for Eckler, I guess. Eckler is involved in the passing game, and he has fantasy points per game. So I probably would do it for him. But, man, I guess it's really more of recency bias, but 3 of the last 4 weeks, he's kind of been, disappointing. But I still
obviously you're doing it for Najee as well.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't know.
Right.
I really doubt you could probably trade Kamara, especially hurt.
Right.
That is true. What about DeAndre Swift?
What did Walito say that?
He did. Of course he did. That's what Walito. I really don't have any idea why your Avi on YouTube is the Raptors. I don't know why you wouldn't go like just DeAndre Swift in a heart with Brandon Cooks
and an eggplant.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say with the water emoji, the water over the spit or whatever that is emoji. Yeah. Anyway, but he does bring up a good point. They get Arizona, Atlanta, and Seattle to close out the year in their fantasy schedule. But I don't know if I could. I don't know. Anyways, I think there's some running backs. I don't think you could get Najee, or I really don't think you could get Eckler, right? Especially with them hurt.
Right.
that's going to kill him. Possibly you could do Saquon, but yeah.
Yeah, so there's some options there for you, Lee. Hope we helped out. Thank you again for the super chat. Gabe wants to know, should I flex Wilson or Bateman in a half PPR? This is going to be Wilson for me. As long as Eli ends up being out, and he's doubtful right now. Chris Goulis wants to know what we think of this trade: DJ Moore and Collins for Marquis Brown and Elijah Moore.
I think you could. I prefer DJ Moore for all the things that I mentioned a little bit ago, but I just worry about Marquis Brown, and I know he's been seeing more targets. I know the last game they played, he saw more targets than Rashad Bateman, but I think Rashad Bateman is really coming to take away that. And then you also have to account for Mark Andrews, and then how much they want to run the ball. So that would probably be where I would look, right? So like I would just slightly prefer DJ Moore. Elijah Moore scares the shit out of me with how many wide receivers they have.
Yeah. Scary Terry or Higgins for Nick. We answered this one from a different question. This is going to be Higgins for both of us, but it is close. Okay, sorry. So Lee was thinking about Zeke in that Camara.
It's like I said, I don't hate it, but I just feel like I think Zeke now is like a back-end RB1. I just think that's kind of who he is.
Yeah.
And so I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Karn, if we this is something that we brought up preseason, and then once we got into the season, with as much as Kevin and I do in front of the scene and behind the scene in terms of all the, and then they go live Thursday night at halftime too. So it's difficult, but that is definitely something that we like to be able to do at some point.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad, but like honestly, like unless you're talking about studs on Thursday night, man, I don't want to play Thursday night. Guys that play Thursday night, it's just always such a shit show with these damn games. I wish they would just get rid of these games. Almost always, These games are awful. That game was so hard to watch, but I am such also a degenerate and just get like all day yesterday. I was like, I'm not playing DFS. I'm not playing Showdown. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing tonight and drive home. Nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then I think someone said something or somebody asked me a question. I went and looked at the salaries. I'm like, well, if I was going to put together a team, okay, I'll put together a few. Oh, never mind. I want to put in more. Okay, I like this. I'm liking this. And then after the game, I'm like, why the fuck did I play? All day I said I wasn't going to do it.
And you did it.
So that was your DJ. Devonta Freeman or Wilson?
Deonta Foreman.
Oh, sorry. The spelling.
Foreman or Wilson. I'm going to go Wilson there.
Wilson. We're not dropping Javonte.
No.
Yeah, definitely do not drop Javonte Williams. I guess I didn't mention him in like the handcuff, even though he's not really a handcuff, but he is 100% a buy because if something happens to Melvin Gordon, it is 6 to midnight. It is wheels up.
I mind that adding Robbie. That was good one. That made me chuckle. Ron. Daryl Williams or Jeff Wilson.
Daryl Williams. That is with the contingency that Clyde Edwards-Helaire sits.
Correct. Ron, I just try not to drink too much water at one time because I have a small bladder, so that's why I use a small cup.
He called you Corey. That's good.
Yeah, well, I get that. That is quite often. Not sure what this is in reference to. I'm going Renfro. If this is anything around like a start set, it's Renfro over Mooney for sure. Abe, let us know if we missed anything there, because obviously that was the Deonta Foreman Wilson question. We're going Wilson there. Hopefully we're not missing any of the questions coming through on Twitch, because I'm not seeing anything else. Antonio, who should I roster from these guys? Pick one: Robbie, Eli, Kadarius, and Mooney. It's going to be Mooney for me.
Yeah, I would go Mooney. I do like Kadarius Toney, but there's just a lot of wide receivers there when they're all healthy, and they all seem to be healthy right now. But yeah, I would go Mooney.
How do you feel about this trade, Kev?
I like it a lot. I mean, I've said a lot that I don't like trading CMC because of just how much of a cheat code he is. But
yeah,
Najee Harris has been really, really good this year, and all things that we thought, because we thought that he was going to handle such a massive amount of this workload, and so yeah, and getting Deontay, who's a solid wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 2 at that, whenever Big Ben plays. So
McLaurin for D-Hop.
Yeah, I guess you could. I mean, I don't mind it. If you get D-Hop back, you're in the playoffs. Hopefully he's back. He'll be back by then. Should be good to go by then. And his red zone his red zone opportunities are going to be so much higher than what Terry McLaurin is because of the offense that he's in.
Yeah. Landry, Rondell Moore, or Sanders for Ashton. D-Hop out, obviously.
Landry and Sanders.
It's too hard to trust Rondell, even with D-Hop being out. Let's go. Alexis, are you? Did you take sole possession of first place yet? I know you were tied maybe like 2 or so weeks ago. Are you the sole owner of first place? Let us know. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate. Love seeing some new names. A lot of familiar faces in here as well. Got another Hardman question here. This one's coming from Noel. Would you start Hardman, Robbie Anderson, or Pollard in the flex?
I'm going to go Robbie Anderson here.
Whoo! I can't get there yet. I'm gonna go Hardman. Can't get there quite yet. And with with Casey's defense being better, Pollard would be second for me because I can't get there with Robbie Anderson just yet. But it is going to be Hardman. K5 full PPR league. I have to pick 2 out of Wilson, Hollywood, Devonta, and T.
Give me T. Higgins and Marquis Brown. Yeah.
Give me Marquise and Jeff Wilson if Eli is out. It seems like Eli's going to be out.
That's
Give
not
it Jeff
what I'm
Wilson.
laughing about. I wonder how well it'll show up. Let me see. There. Walito, that is amazing. Thank you for that.
Yes. Well, Walito was slipping in the power ranks a little bit. That put you back up at the top, buddy. That's
excellent work.
well done.
Oh man, I started dying when I saw that.
Well done. I think Hollywood should be okay. The fact he got into limited practice today should be okay.
I don't mind, and I don't mind going Jeff Wilson. Like, I mean, Jeff Wilson's tough to not go with in the matchup against Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Just want to see something real quick.
And then K5 has another question here. This time it's a half PPR with some of the same names. 3 out of Ingram, Jeff Wilson, Devonta Smith, Waddle, Renfro. Oh, boy. Out of that group, I'm going to go Waddle, Renfro, and Wilson. Again, assuming Eli is out. If Eli plays, it would be Devonta, Waddle, and Renfro. Still working on something there, big guy?
I wanted to look at something as far as the almost there. Game and schedule. There we go.
So after Kevin told me to target Lockett, someone offered Lockett and Henderson for Barkley and A-Rob. Eckler, Edmonds, Collins are the other running backs. I don't know if obviously giving up A-Rob isn't an issue, but I'm not sure I can.
Yeah, I don't want to
send
do that.
Barkley away.
Yeah, it's just for Barkley.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just so I went and looked. I was trying to see what Jacksonville's numbers were, at least against the run lately. And over the last 4 games, they're actually 25th in rushing yards allowed per game. They've actually only allowed 89.3 over the last 4 games against the run. So then I was like, well, I don't like just buying that. So let me look at some other stuff. And well, they faced the Miami Dolphins, the Tennessee Titans, or excuse me, the Dolphins, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Bills all rushed for 77, 69, and 72 total rushing yards. And then I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because they didn't play any running backs over that time. And then they played last week against Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor went off.
Yeah.
Had over 127 rushing yards in that game. So, but I will say on the season, they've only had 3 games where they've allowed over 100 rushing yards. They had the Titans against Derrick Henry, which Derrick Henry runs over everybody. And then you have the Houston Texans in that week 1 game. But other than that, like they've actually been decent against the run.
I think that first game, Tyrod chipped in some yards as well. So I think that was a game where Ingram had like 25 carries, only had like 80 yards. I think Tyrod chipped in like maybe 30, 20.
And actually, now I keep looking more into this. Man, now I'm starting to second guess myself with Jeff Wilson. Jacksonville's actually 7th in rush DVOA on the year. They're 31st in pass DVOA. So they've actually been really good against the run. They're just a pass funnel. I mean, they can't stop the pass, save them lives, but they're 7th in rush DVOA on the year.
I still think Eli Mitchell's in a great spot with. I mean,
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson's in a great spot with Eli Mitchell more than likely out. You said Jermichael Hasty's out as well. So
and then on the year they're 12th in they're 12th in adjusted line yards, 2nd in power rank, 11th in stuff rank, 8th in second level, and 4th in open field rank. So I don't know. I'm not loving this matchup as much as I did before. But so yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to look into that a little bit more.
Giving Dak and Renfro getting Josh Allen, is that a good trade for RT?
Yeah. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. Half PPR for K5, Patty, Dan Arnold, Conklin, Komet.
Dan Arnold.
Dan Arnold season is here. All right, here for Mets. Mets team is Hurts, Tanny, Zeke, Mixon, Mitchell, Sanders, Tyreek, Jefferson, Deontay, Odell, Julio, Gage, Chenault, Andrews, Gasecki. Other team, Brady, Robinson, Saquon, Davis, Freeman, Scott, Jamal Williams, Kupp, Renfro, Tony Shepard, Moore, DPJ, Schultz.
Oh, their team is.
So you're talking about potentially sending Zeke to get Saquon.
Oh, he was talking about other options. Okay, so that's what it was. I was saying maybe a possible throw-in. I don't think there's none of the running backs he has that's a throw-in, but I don't mind trying to get him to throw in, like, I don't know, maybe Kadarius Toney or maybe Kadarius Toney. I don't mind that. I don't want two Giants. Maybe even, you could even possibly try Hunter Renfro. I doubt it because of the way Hunter Renfro has been playing. But I don't mind going after a Toney. And which more is that, you think? What I would do first, I would offer Zeke for Saquon and Renfro. And if they decline it, maybe change it and communicate with the guy and see if they want to, if they don't want to do that. Even if they would just do Saquon for Zeke.
My kid just woke up and is crying and is sick. I can hear the fucking croup in his voice, so I gotta bounce.
All right.
Sorry, man.
You're good.
If you guys want to join the Discord, I'll answer some questions in the Discord. God damn it, dude. How does this kid always have croup? Yeah, I gotta bounce. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. See you guys.
Anyways, let's do this. One second. We just rock this shit solo. There we go. All right. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. If you could try to, do something like that, I don't mind doing a trade like that. Whether it's getting Saquon and try to get him to throw in somebody. If it's Renfro, if he doesn't want to do it, offer it straight up. Or if you could, I would maybe move to a secondary option like Kadarius Toney or even something like that. Like, I don't mind that at all. But Hunter Renfro would be a great throw-in option there. Half point PPR, Pratt Freiermuth. I think Dan Arnold would be my guy for this one. Let's see. I think that's the same question. Yes. Giving Dak, Renfro, and Josh. Oh, I think we already hit that one. Sorry, guys, didn't hear answer Booker, Penny, or Abdullah. Like, I think if in an 18-man league, like, well, one, I think I would go for. I mean, I think that Devontae Booker should be added. Because if something happens to Saquon again, he should be back on somebody's team. The second option would be Rashad Penny, just because Amari Cooper has no standalone upside. We'd have to get pretty far down. Now, I will say it was encouraging to see how many targets that he's been seeing over the last couple of weeks too. And so in a PPR, like he's an interesting option, but like he's not somebody that's going to win your league or anything like that. But I think as a standalone option, I think Abdullah would be ahead of Penny in that format. But I think Rashad Penny could possibly, get some run here too. Still tied for the most points, I think. Love to see that. Still love this. This is still amazing. Would you guys trade Dak for Higgins or Devon Smith? I have Lamar, one quarterback, 8-man league. You got Jefferson, Marquis Brown, Terry Lockett, Claypool, Gallup. Oh, then yeah, absolutely. If it's one quarterback league and you already have Lamar, yeah, absolutely. You could trade Dak for Higgins or Devonta Smith. And if I was picking one, I would probably go Devonta Smith. Would be my guy that I would make that move for. Yeah, you could absolutely do that, especially in an 8-man league. I think that's a smart option. Hey, now the lights on the hat. Let me know my screen hasn't frozen while you guys think. Hey, you know what, Ronald? Listen, I would rather, instead of just blurting something out and giving some just answer to people, because I want people to win, and I legitimately get mad, or I get mad myself if I feel like I have something that was on this week and I was wrong. And so I try to think about it so I can give a solid response, Ronald. So I apologize if you think we're freezing. So rock out, 2 flexes, Michael Carter, Bateman, Kirk, Jeff Wilson, but Hopkins was ruled out and Mitchell might not play. Yeah, Mitchell doesn't sound like he's going to play and Hopkins is out. So for me, the 2 flexes I would go with here would be Rashad Bateman. And man, if Kyler Murray doesn't play, if Kyler Murray plays, I'm going Christian Kirk. If Kyler Murray doesn't play, we're staring down the barrel of the 3rd string running back here for the Arizona Cardinals. So I would go, man, I think I would still go Jeff Wilson. I just talked everything about Jeff Wilson and the matchup. It's not great for him, but I think he'll be involved as a pass catcher as well in this offense. It's him and Trey Sermon. It sounds like because Jermichael Hasty's also already out. And it does not sound like Mitchell's going to play. I just can't pass up on the volume that Wilson will see in this matchup here. And I don't know how things are going to shake out for Michael Carter with Joe Flacco back there at quarterback. My 10-team league is Dak, Cook, Swift, Montgomery, Tyreek, Devontae, Waller, Tucker, Arizona defense playing for first place this week. Love to see that. Excellent squad there. Let's see. Yeah, like Saquon run for offer. Yeah, I would definitely try to go for that. Thanks for the help, boys. All right. So I think that's the end of the questions. I appreciate everybody here checking it out. Sometimes, Cody had to run, but, as a parent, sometimes you got to, take care of some stuff. But I do appreciate everybody checking out the show. I appreciate everybody, all the support we get. Love seeing all the same people in here. Love the Discord. Discord is absolutely electric right now. So much good conversation happening there. Questions. Brian Hill in here dropping 17 million trade questions every day. But it's awesome. Absolutely love it. Appreciate all the support. Love you guys. What we do it for. That's the only thing I really care about with this. When I started TFA about 6 years ago, I guess now. But anyways, I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be right back here in less than 48 hours. Sunday morning, we'll be right back here doing the Sunday morning show at 10 a.m. Central Time. So we should, by then we'll have all the news. So I hope you guys see that. Which D, Carolina or Cleveland? Give me Cleveland's defense and this one. Anyways, I appreciate everybody checking out the show. I will see you guys very soon. Have a good rest of the weekend. Peace.